congratulations, y'all. What a powerful, powerful, important, much needed film. And just congratulations. I hope y'all have been celebrating each other as you ramp up for the festival. And just I just want to send the love. I was really blown away. And so congratulations on all of it.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad it resonated with you.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. And I have to say before we start, the little girl who plays Jade, oh my gosh, she is such a star. And she's adorable. All right, well, let's hop in. This first question's for both of you. I was thinking a lot about how monster tales in general. I know this film was inspired by Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and how monster tales can be the most humanizing of stories. Mm-hmm. I'd love to know how that genre has expanded both of your realities and helped you to feel seen and understood in the past. I would like to start.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I think that I think monster, yeah, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head that monsters can show like an extreme light on humanization as well as dehumanization. You know what I mean? And I think, it's like I hope that this tale gave me like a release as far as just like how that happens. It's like, because throughout the film, I feel like people get dehumanized and thrown away with just just a first look at them. You know what I mean, on whatever it may be, whether it's a microaggression or a macro one. It's just like, so I believe this story kind of gave like a, at least for me, a release to kind of, an ability to kind of deal with those things and tell a story within that format. And the horrors of what it means to be dehumanized, and also the beauty of when people actually do treat you like a human. It's like, and I hope that this movie is able to kind of deal with both of those and the breadth of that conversation.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I thought you did such a beautiful job at sort of combining, even though it's within the horror kind of thriller genre, combining the light and dark of life and moments. You have these really joyful moments like around the dinner table and within the community. And I thought it was, yeah. Anyways, would you like to say anything, Laya?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with what Bomani said. And I guess to kind of tag along to that, what he's saying with the dehumanizing of people, especially within like just being a Black person in America, in this day and age, you're stripped away of so much, whether it's your identity or your livelihood. In Vicaria's case, it's her own family, so much of that is being taken away from her, and not by choice. It's because of a system that was put in place way before her. Mm-hmm. And I think working on this type of film where we're taking this classic story and putting a modern twist on it, and playing a character like Vicaria, who is just not afraid to speak her mind and march to the beat of her own drum. For me to be a part of that was extremely freeing and really liberating. You just don't get many scripts, many characters like this as you're even going through this industry or through this sort of process. So hopefully people can take that away when they're watching the film, that like, hey, this is what it's actually like. It's real and it's honest, but also at the same time, like Bomani said, there's so much beauty when you stop judging people, or when you stop having those preconceived notions before actually knowing who we are, what it is. Mm-hmm. So hopefully people can gather that.
Oh, that was so beautifully said. And yes, your performance is just stunning. Stunning. To just kind of wrap up the whole Frankenstein of it all, I was thinking too, obviously we have Victor, we have Vicaria, but Victor, unlike Vicaria, Victor is very motivated by ego, but Vicaria is motivated by love, by grief, by trauma. Bomani, can you talk about that choice?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it just like it clicked and it made more sense, like, contemporary wise to kind of do this and like this way. And I also, it's just like, and also that was kind of my, when I read the book, I know, like, when we usually watch those movies or like hear about it, we are kind of thinking about ego and all that stuff. And I think that has to do with it. I mean, you have to have a little bit to kind of take something big swing, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just so like, but with all that being said, like, I think that, like, like she needed, like, I wanted her to have a more humanizing reason to go on this journey, like, because, I didn't feel like it would happen any other way, considering her circumstances. So it's like, I think that, those things for her, like, I believe that was like her, I couldn't really see it any other way than that.
Yeah. And oh my gosh, I remember watching when you, Leia, when you're first you're getting all like bloody, you're in there with the corpse, and you have this like amazing look on your face that you're very like sad. You're enjoying the process because you are a scientist, you are, this smart, intelligent woman, but then you also know the reasons behind it, and you kind of find that duality so beautifully in that moment. It was fantastic. I loved it. You were like, yeah, let's get into it.
That was fun to film too, because I think it was just like the camera in front of my face. Bomani would
Blood on your glasses, like
Bomani would get so giddy while filming that part. I was just like, once I heard him laugh and like start being like, yes, then I was like, okay, we're doing good.
Yeah, my DP there, everyone was getting, the crew's kind of getting frustrated because I was having such a good time.
Clearly it worked. I like can't stop thinking about that moment and like the look on her face. So it was great.
Well, I mean, some people can take it as, caricature, but to me, like, the honesty of the situation is like when you find something that you are passionate about, it's just like you're having a good time. Doesn't matter what it is. Like, I've talked to people who, work in morgues and shit like that. Like, they have a fascination with this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, you may not like it, but like, it's like when you find something that you're passionate about, that you're chasing, you do enjoy it. You find certain things about it that that makes you get up in the morning. So it might feel twisted, but it's just like, that's,
Hey,
that's this world,
truth. That's truth right there. And like, yeah, like she gets us. It's satisfying, and she's so determined, and it's. I want to talk a little bit about the education aspect of this film, because I thought it played a really big role, from the sweet little lessons between Vicaria and Jade, who I'm obsessed with, and to the, incredibly infuriating scene with the teacher at the school. And also Vicaria's dad, who had that the writing was just so beautiful in those moments with him talking about, not fitting in boxes and being able to have more than one idea at once. And, I loved all the nuance of that. But talk to me about, why was it important to sort of, shed both like the light and the dark of education and the educational system, because it was beautifully sort of married.
Oh, well, thank you. That's a good question. There you go. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I love the
yeah, it's like you did. So I just think it's important to kind of show, like, for me, a prevalent theme and, throughout this movie was just people's intelligence and their ability to learn. It's like in their ability to kind of, humble themselves and challenge themselves. And I think particularly during that dinner table scene, it was important to show, like, these challenging ideas between the two of him, Vicaria and, and her best friend Aisha, so like it's like the education, like, because I don't know, it's like, what's the saying, like, I forgot, it's like whatever sharpens whatever, it's like when you have friends and people around you, it's just like Vicaria is the way she is because of the people around her as well, who build her and like help educate her and teach her. And it also has a lot to do with, my personal experiences with, I have two older sisters who were kind of shepherding me throughout my life, and helped educate me. It's like to correct some of the misinformation that kind of goes around, it's like that's running rampant now. Like those things are just crucial to me, it's like, and I wanted to showcase that, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it was absolutely beautiful. I found it so impactful, and made me also want to continue the conversation outside of the film. I mean, this is what like all great stories do. They create conversation, and you obviously can't stop thinking about the film and all of its beautiful layers. But I mean, we know that society has wrongfully told women, especially Black women, that they're not allowed to be angry. However, anger is one of the most powerful and important emotions to express. Laya, how does the film reclaim anger in a way, if that makes sense, restore anger?
Yeah, it's the stereotype that's, I mean, in the title, you can look at that, the angry Black girl, it's what they try to categorize us as, or put us in a box to try and fit in. And again, it leans into what Bomani was saying. It's dehumanizing, to just put that one label on someone or on Black women, on a community of people. So if anything, I felt like our movie does a great job of showing that anger isn't a bad thing. That anger is passion, that anger is motivation. That's what you said, why she's so determined and passionate about her obsession for death. It comes from that anger. Without their anger, there wouldn't be the beauty that comes with it. Honestly, without the anger, there would be no movie, But it's so funny though, how like a phrase or a term that's literally comes from internalized racism and is used to stereotype us, it ends up putting us into a box. But at the same time, she's not just angry, she's also incredibly soft. She's vulnerable. She wants her family. She's doing everything out of love. And those two are able to coincide as well. And like, I mean, I think this whole movie, even with the parts with Aisha and Vicaria, again, it's just showing duality the entire time. It's hope and hopelessness. It's life, it's death. And I think our movie does a good job of showing that. So I think it's, like you said, it's a great thing to be angry. Like we should be angry. Like there's so much to be mad about though, especially as a Black woman, there's so much to be angry about. The thing is you can turn that anger and make it into something beautiful. And that's what I think Vicaria does. That's her whole objective throughout the film.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, this has been so lovely. I could chat with y'all for hours, but I would like to finish on this question that I always ask everybody. What did making this film teach you most about yourselves? I know.
Ladies first, you know what I'm saying?
Ladies
A lot. I learned so much. I learned so much from this movie. Well, one, I'll start with Vicaria. Just, she marches to the beat of her own drum. She does not care what people think about her. And in many ways, that was really inspiring and freeing to be able to play with that and take that into my own life. I honestly do feel after doing this movie that I am much more free and much more present than I was before I even started. I mean, even having conversations with Bomani during the prep process, I was very focused on the big picture as opposed to like each and every small specific moment. And it was a test of endurance, one, and it was also just a test of like how present you can stay and how in the moment you can stay. And that's a lesson I'll carry on with me forever. This was the first project I've also ever led. So that was also another challenge. And to just get into that mental space for me, it was hard. And I've learned now kind of how to balance that. And I will continue to learn. But this was like my first little taste of it. So
Oh, that's lovely. That's so lovely to hear. Okay, Bomani, you're up.
I didn't forget. No, I mean, like, for me, like making this story, it really, it taught me a couple things. I really experienced a couple things. One of them was just like trust. It's just like trusting the people around you, and like, I don't want to say like letting go, but like, it's just like, because the movie kind of becomes its own thing when like people kind of interpret and take different ways. It's like, and I remember some of the most like, it's like, it was with Leia. I was like, she was like, because when we were talking about the movie and she was first like got the script and she was like talking to me about it, and she was just like, yeah, like, at first I like read the title and I was like, I don't want to be like that, but she was like, but then I like read the script and I was like, oh, she's not angry, it's like, it's like, it's like, this isn't like that, and like when that was happening, I was just like, okay, like, this, like, this, it's alive, right? I mean, in the most sense, like, it's kind of moving in its own way. So like trusting that this story will resonate and like and breathe and become its own thing, like that was very, very huge for me. And it also, like, it's like I've always loved my family, of course, but just like kind of making this movie made me understand subconsciously how much they're kind of moving through me, because
Wow. Yeah.
it's like, because it wasn't something where when I was writing this movie where I was just like, family, like, it's like that wasn't what was going on. I was writing other stuff that I thought was interesting, right? And then like, but this element of it, this through line, and it wasn't until like we were in post and someone like touched it or whatever, and I was like, no, like, I was like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
this is one of the most important parts of this movie. This is one of the most important thematics, so.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's awesome. Well, again, congratulations. That's my time, but thank you so much. And again, I hope y'all are celebrating each other. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your time today.